And joining us now, as promised, is a wonderful gentleman who we have met here this morning, and you're about to meet him, Ted Kempinski. Also, his daughter Hannah is here. I want to mention that. But Ted is a genocide education activist and public school teacher. He's also the Honorary Consul of Memory for Auschwitz-Birkenau Memorial Museum, and recently he got back from Poland from the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. Ted, thank you so much for being here today. We're honored to be in your presence, actually.
Well, the honor is mine, not just because of being here, but also the ability to talk about this important topic today.
Can you tell us the significance of the liberation of Auschwitz? It's a big topic, and it's a huge, huge liberation.
Well, besides the freedom that was granted to the remaining prisoners, Auschwitz is important because it's a combination of two things: concentration camp or slave labor place where the Nazis used the Jewish people and the Polish people and anyone deemed not part of their ideal society as slave labor and to help them. It was also then a combination of a death camp. And that is unique in the system. You have prisoners and you have a death center combined. So you're going to have witnesses and you're going to have a disposal place. And what is also unique is the death center remained. Treblinka, Sobibor, Belzec were wiped clean, or at least they attempted to. There's evidence that we've discovered. But Auschwitz remained. They wanted it to be seen. Look at what we're proud of, the Nazis. Look at this wonderful 40 square kilometers. And then we have the voices of the people, the structures. So what was so powerful about that celebration is we had 50 voices, plus the structure, which doesn't exist in those other death camps.
Sure.
There. So the place and the voices, the witnesses, and we know how important the word is. So the words of the people were still there. Maybe not for much longer, but that's what made that day so powerful.
I see.
And so what was the atmosphere like at the 80th anniversary? Somber? I mean, we have photos that we're going to show too.
Yeah. When I walked in, I knew it was the largest tent in Europe. It cost over $3 million just to construct the tent. Not the security, not anything else. You can even watch a time relapse photo of them constructing it. It was unlike anything. It's not like Auschwitz normally is. It has the death cape. It had the train car reconstructed. It wasn't like anything that I expected being at Auschwitz before. But the emphasis wasn't for me about that place. It was the people there. As I walked in, and I walked in further up, I didn't think I belonged there. I'm a teacher from Haverhill, Massachusetts. I don't belong here. But as I walked further up, as they escorted me as an honored guest, I thought, okay, I'll be in the back. I walked further and further up. I walked by generals and officers, dignitaries, finance executives. And I walked within 6 rows of the front. I was breaths away from the King of England.
Wow.
But more importantly, and this was the response of everybody, when those survivors walked in, everyone held their breath. Because that was hope and life. That beat evil and held us all speechless.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I wish Jay Fadden was here because he himself has visited Auschwitz, and it really moved him deeply, and he speaks of it often. But you've been there. We don't all get the chance, and I know you've been facilitating online tours for students of Auschwitz. What inspired that?
Well, it goes way back to when I was very young. Starts with my Catholic faith. When I was preparing to come here, I started to think about, well, where did this all come from? And it was that question of, why do bad things happen to good people who followed God, especially the Jews? And I grew up in my Catholic elementary school, Notre Dame, which elementary in Columbus, Ohio, and what a great community and teachers that were there. And then I went to college at Merrimack College in Austin, where they taught me to think critically, and what a great education there. And then I became a teacher for 25 years, which I was always struggling to help others, but really myself. What is our role in society? And all of those things, all those experiences, all those questions prepared me for this great work that I'm suddenly really doing. And that is to say, we have a job as humans to care for each other. And at 51 years old, I finally have energy that I'd never had before, that it's not work for me. This is what I want to do, to spread that message.
Yeah, and you know, in addition to the millions of Jews that died, there were also many Catholics, and St. Maximilian Kolbe, among others. Can you tell us about him?
Maximilian Kolbe was a special man. He's from Poland. He had he had a German father, Polish mother. I hope I got that correct. If I remember correctly. He was devout to Mary, and he was a very smart man. And from the very beginning, he cared for the people around him, and that included his parishioners and the Polish people, his flock. But that included people who we might not consider our community, the Jews. And he helped shelter them, anti-Nazi messages, and that's how he ended up in the camp. But it was in that camp that he continued to deliver that message of life and to believe in God, and I'm here to serve God's work. And of course, he sacrificed his life for a man with a family, a Jewish, Polish man, I believe, who survived the Holocaust and was there when he was cantonized by
an amazing
Oh,
story.
that's awesome.
And we're up against the news, Ted, but I know that you're passionate about making sure that people know that we can never forget the atrocities, the evil of Auschwitz. How can we, the rest of us, be a part of that passionate move?
Well, there's two ways, okay? There's one, you could visit Auschwitz. And I know it's not necessarily easy for all of us, but there's an online guided tour by human guides. If you go to Auschwitz.org, you can go and do that. And it's something that is unlike anything they do. It came out of COVID. And this is very important. That's what I discovered, and I want to bring back to all the students in Massachusetts, and then I think possibly even the world, because we're not all going to be able to get to Auschwitz. Right. And that's an emotional experience that's going to be an anchor point for you, for everyone to come to. And the second thing is to fight indifference, which is the true evil. Elie Wiesel talks about that from the very beginning, that is what evil really is. It's not doubt, as Thomas Aquinas says. It's not doubt. It's not ugliness, okay? Because that is reflection. That, we can deal with that. It's not caring for those people who we don't understand, that we want to blame for our fear. Thank you.
Unbelievable. Well, thank you so much for being here. Great to have your daughter, Hannah, with us as well.
It was a pleasure.
And thank you for your good work as a teacher. We need great teachers in our public and private schools. So great to meet you, Ted, and thank you so much for sharing your inspiration to let people know that indifference is the real evil here. Yeah.
I want to thank you both.
God bless.